What's good, people? We're back with another episode of Four Quarter Talk podcast. I'm Josh Masoki, joined by
Matas para analysis.
man. This is the end of a great season. I think, especially since the pandemic, but in recent years, we haven't really had a season that's been this eventful. The regular season, even though that feels like ages ago, the regular season was pretty great. Had a lot of drama. Had like high impactful teams and play throughout the year. Uh, Seen them threads on Twitter about like how funny the season was, like all the crazy stuff that happened. And I'm thinking some of this stuff from last season. Like we got
Yeah.
we got bronze
Literally.
meltdown uh against at the end of that Celtics game. Uh I mean, this is crazy. This a lot happened, trades. Uh it was just a crazy season. And obviously the playoffs was mad. Like obviously this is the first full playoffs with 100% capacity of fans, so we finally got that playoff feel. You saw teams like Sacramento that hadn't been in the playoffs for like 20 years. Finally seen the passion and the energy of those fan bases. Like we really ate this
Yeah.
year. We just had a ton of close games as well, and there weren't too many blowouts. And even when it was a blowout, a team would make a fake comeback to where you would still have to watch the whole game. So yeah, I mean, I'm satisfied with the season that we got for sure.
Yeah, I would say I was satisfied, but like as some fans waited and
Yeah,
like I kind of like I didn't enjoy it, but like throughout like the season, yeah, like throughout the league, like season was very good. Like a lot of ups and downs, like teams blowing up, blowing like Dallas Mavericks out of the like suddenly just decided, oh, we're gonna tank. Like
that was crazy.
I can't remember last time team decided, oh, well, our last 14 games just gonna tank,
Yeah,
just like lose every single game.
like
Makes
we
no
have we
sense.
have we literally a team that actually has a chance at a playoff spot. And like in hindsight, considering that a team that lost their first playoff playing game was in the finals, maybe they should have went for it. I mean, you have
Yep.
two superstar, one superstar player, one all-star player. You might as well just go for it. I didn't understand that because I remember it was the race between OKC and Dallas for that last playing spot, and I thought it was gonna be a battle. They just tapped out.
They said,
Like,
nope,
wait,
we don't want none of that.
no, we don't want that. We
Yeah.
want the 10th pick.
Yeah.
So
And the fact that like there's no Jack again, as usual now at this point. I think next time he'll be special guest if he comes
no, he
around.
will be
But
because
like
I was thinking. Honestly, I'm. He's about to lose. He's about to get taken off the banner because I was actually going through, and his last episode. This is 57, and his last episode was 45. Like, come on,
Oh my god!
and
And the fact, and
that was in like
we recorded
November.
a lot as well, like
Yeah.
without releasing. So
Oh
like,
yeah. No, we've probably had like almost
I would
30
say, yeah,
without him. So at this
yeah.
point, yeah, he'll be our like Bulls correspondent that will call in like.
And the
Um,
fact that Bulls were like 3 minutes away from being in the finals, like,
yeah, exactly.
it's incredible.
Bulls were that surprise finals contender. The Bulls
Yep.
actually, until the Nuggets, the Bulls were the closest to beating them. This is crazy, but
Yeah,
uh,
but yeah, great season. But like at the end, like throughout the season, the MVP saga, like it's now people saying, "Oh, Jokic should have
bro,
won it." Like,
it's so funny, man. I feel like this podcast is. I feel like we must be geniuses because we've been on this Jokic for like 4 years, probably since the start of it, since like even before the bubble. Um, I didn't. This was before both of his MVPs, and I didn't know that he was gonna be, two-time MVP level player. But we knew that he wasn't getting the respect he deserved. And you know what? This pod will probably be titled "Give Jokic his Respect." Uh, with and a year ago, we had a pod that came out saying "Give Steph his respect." And it's similar sentiment. It's similar sentiment. Also, I do have to note that in that episode, it said that uh got I was the only one that got the games predicted correctly for that series. And I mean, today both of us said Nuggets and five. Uh it was never in doubt.
I feel like like this series was a bit
Yeah,
easier to predict than the last one, so
yeah. A
I'm
little
not
bit, a
sure
little
about
bit.
it.
Now you had to pick the Celtics at the end of the day. Like you had to.
Yeah, I had
Your team makes it to
like
the finals, even if you're the 2018, even if you're a Cavs fan in 2018, you gotta pick your own.
even if you Heat fan, even if you Heat fan this season,
Yeah. Even
you
if you're
have to pick Heat.
uh, there were still Heat fans talking about the refs. I'm like, bro, you want to
But
lose in
especially
five?
with the last game, how
We're
last game
losing
went,
five or
like
we're losing six. Like, what does it really mean? Do you want them to win on your home court? Like, I don't understand. But the rest
yeah,
were trying to extend the series. It looked more like
yeah. I would say Nuggets were the ones that tried to extend the series, not like the rest.
nah,
Because like
they did not win a parade that they did not want to win that day. I
yeah,
swear. One team's
100%.
gonna lose.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know what they were thinking, but yeah, like it was a very close game at the end, but like Jimmy Butler, I don't know,
Mhm.
like Jimmy literally back to back
5 to
possessions.
18.
Yeah, that's that as well. The
We'll talk more
elimination
about
game.
that later, but yeah, just the finals in general though. Well, one thing is that it feels every finals I've watched, it feels like it ends the same way in terms of it being like a relatively close game, and then the other team misses a three, and then like it's like it's almost like a deja vu moment where it's like, yeah, they miss a three, one person gets the rebound, and it's over. It's over. Uh, but
I would say about this finals, one bad thing, NBA didn't advertise it as much as they should have.
yeah, we spoke about this.
Yeah, we spoke about like
Terrible, terrible job branding with the
yeah,
advertisement, pushing this finals. Did you know the finals logo on the court is is digital. So if you're at the arena, you don't even see that.
that
So
makes sense.
all the
And
clips,
like
everything that's gonna be
the
filmed, all the historic like iconic stuff that we get that isn't on ESPN is gonna not have any finals branding. Even the towels, like even the towels still said playoffs. They didn't even say finals on them. There's just
oh my
things like
god,
that.
like
Details, man.
yeah, and the fact that you know that if it was even I think even if it was Lakers against Nuggets, it would be bigger than
Mm.
now because like but yeah, we all know the Lakers Celtics final would be like something huge and
Lakers Suns final would be
uh, like it makes sense, but at the end, like it's still finals. It should feel like finals.
bro. If it was Lakers Celtics, like forget the trophy graphic on the court. They might put like they might have a drone holding up the actual trophy like 20 feet off or something. They might have that up there, like who's gonna get it like every game or
No,
something.
it will be like WWE when ladder match when it's
Yeah,
hanging
yeah,
from the top.
yeah,
Yeah.
like yeah. Nah, for real.
It will be like that, but yeah, like
It
I
felt
think
like
that like that.
every post I saw, it felt like they had to, like they were forced to. Even all these takes that are coming out now about, oh yeah, Jokic. I saw Richard Jefferson talking about Jokic. He scored like KD, passed like Magic,
Yeah, I
rebound.
saw that one as well.
Like none of you were saying this a month ago, though, were you? When or it's got a two-time MVP. We're acting like it's like some Cinderella story of so yeah, like come on, man. Like this is just ridiculous. And then you got people doubling down saying he's still not better than Embiid. All the takes from early in the year that we had to endure these takes for years, and just to see it finally, just just to see it finally die, it's just been amazing, man. It's been
The
amazing.
fact that Nick Wright said apologize to Denver and Jokic, the one guy who said, "Oh, he's the worst MVP like in NBA history," apologize like that speaks a lot.
So where does he rank now? Where does
Yeah,
he?
yeah, yeah. To be fair, I'm pretty sure he said it like he's now like all time great. So
Yeah, because for some reason we want people to. I don't understand. They want them to. So you need these accolades to become an all-time great, but then now you have to be an all-time great to deserve the accolades before you get
I
them.
mean, yeah,
Like, what does that like? How does that make any sense whatsoever? Um, but yeah, that was funny though. That the number one argument was about him not having postseason success in the first year
with a
that
healthy
he finally
team.
has a healthy team. He wins a championship, and because Perk pretty much because of Perk's narrative and beat crying like twerking for the MVP, we
Yeah,
like we missed out on what would have been one of the best individual seasons of all time. Like a third straight MVP and the finals MVP, the playoffs that he
and
had.
with that dominating run in the playoffs
Yeah.
as
I mean,
well. Like
who else would match that type of season? I think maybe Hakeem.
yeah, Hakeem when he won defensive player of the year.
Yeah, when he won all those. So
Yeah,
yeah. But now the finals as a whole, obviously, everyone wants to call them boring or whatever. Look, this is a dominant team. Were you calling it boring when the Lakers were doing this in 2000, in the early 2000s? Like, it's like, okay, well, what do you want them to do? I mean, we'll go into the Nuggets run. What's on the topic? Like, everyone's complaining, like, oh, you beat this team and this team, you had an easy path. Like, this is how seeding works. This is why teams take. This is why you take the regular season seriously, because that's how a bracket
yep,
works. See, in a bracket, if you win loads of games throughout the year, you're at the top of the bracket, and so by default, you play the worst teams throughout. And it's supposed to be at the point where, look, this is This is the NBA. This is not a single elimination league. So at the end of the day, whichever teams play in the finals, that they earn their way there. And just because you have a team that you think is better, like they didn't prove it in 7 games. So no one gets to the finals by fluke. So calling the Heat a bad opponent or whatever, well, that's a reflection on all the teams that they beat at the end of the day. Um, it's ridiculous pulling the playing card. But if they beat everyone in their bracket, what do you want them to do? Who like they played Minnesota in the first round? Okay, like not a great opponent, but it's a 1-8 matchup. So what do you want? Then they play the Suns, who everyone said would beat them. Then they play the Lakers, who everyone said would beat them. And now they play the team that made it through the East. So what do you want? Like what matchup would have satisfied them? The
yeah, it makes no
Warriors?
sense.
Like, did they want the Warriors to play them or something?
Mm.
I don't
And
know
it would be the same outcome.
the exact same outcome.
Yeah, it
It
makes no
looks like
sense.
the
Like,
Warriors. It looks like the Warriors as well at the end of the day. Uh,
yeah,
the the Celtics might have made it a bit longer. I don't know, maybe, but I,
I think with the Celtics, it depends if at the end of the day if Tatum was injured or not.
yeah. But at the end of the day, this is a team that there was a lot of teams throughout the league that on paper had the potential to win a championship, but the
Yeah,
Nuggets were the
sure.
only team that really brought it every day and were consistent from, as we said, from August, from training camp all the way through to the finals now. So they earned it. You know, they don't play with their food at all. That's
Yeah,
why we said that's why we said Nuggets in 5, because they're not gonna be us around. They are gonna take care of business. And the team that took the most games off them, that what they went 16-4. The Suns took 2 games off them, but they had to have, KD and Book had to go for 80 plus. So
yeah,
that's not a formula for beating a team. You know what I mean? Like this team won because they are the best team in the league. I don't think there's a question about it. Give an argument for any team in the league being better than them from start to finish. That there is none. There is none.
yeah.
So it's just a terrible narrative to say that a team is dominant. So to penalize a team for being dominant,
It makes
so dumb.
the Nuggets hate like you can see like throughout the league like no one wants Nuggets to be there because
And
oh
look,
they're not a big market team like it makes
yeah,
no sense.
and look. maybe if you were saying this about the Warriors because of how they built their team, maybe because they got KD, so it feels artificial. But this is a Nuggets team that built up literally from the ground
Yeah,
up. Their best player is a second rounder. Uh, like how many lottery picks do they even have on their team? And even the ones that they do have, like Michael Porter Jr. coming out of high school, he was a highly recruited talent, but then he had the back injury and he had the issues there, so there were question marks on him. Like the Clippers had two picks before him and passed on him twice, so
yeah.
you know what I mean. It's not like everyone in the league was fighting to get him. Jamal Murray, he's that first player from that group of Kentucky players to win now. Um, but yeah, across their team,
Uh,
it's a
And like with Jamal Murray, the fact like he went through like ACL and
he
like
went through uh the self doubt that he had. So he's
yeah,
coming off one of the best performances of his career, and then suffers an injury like that the next year, and he's thinking, do like will they still want me? And he thought he was damaged goods. And then the rest of their roster is a bunch of journeymen that had been from team to team. They've helped out a lot of different teams, but they they hadn't really found somewhere that they hadn't found a home. Who's to say that they stick around? Because obviously every time a team wins a championship, they players are due to get big bags elsewhere. But these are players that have put in years. Look at Jeff Green; he's been on damn near every team in the league.
yeah.
He was one of the first play. He was one of the players in the first year of the OKC. Um, he's been around. He's helped loads of teams.
But Ish Smith,
Ish
13
Smith.
teams in 13 years.
Yeah. Ish Smith. And
Even
then
Reggie Jackson won the ring.
yeah, Reggie. And then yeah, DeAndre Jordan, the first from the big three from the Lob City era.
That's great. Like that one's crazy.
You're gonna play like Aaron Gordon, who was the head of a franchise for a bit, but he was misused, and for a while it looked like he was gonna fizzle out and be kind of not a bust, but kind of fizzle out and turn his. But he's found a role now. He's found a home. So
Yeah.
mm, yeah, it's just
Even Bruce Brown said like who could like Bruce Brown, he probably could get a bag like this off season, but he said like it doesn't matter about money, like I want to stay here at this
yeah.
right now. So like
Why wouldn't you just stay and be part of something special? Because when you bring a championship to a city like that, it means a lot more.
yeah.
It means much more. You look at Lakers. I'm sure Raptors fans, Cavs fans, they're still grateful for the championships they've got. Meanwhile, Lakers fans, literally the year after winning a championship, are already hating on all the players that won it with them, sending death threats to KCP and all of them. So
Yeah.
it just means more. It just means more. And it's great. I don't think outside of my own, I support OKC. Outside of them, that's probably a team that I'd be the most happy for to win because they've done it. They've done it the right way. And yeah, shout out to Mike Malone as well. Yeah, but
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
yeah. On the other side though, the Heat playoff run. Mad respect to them. Has there been any team that's maximized their opportunity as much as them, like punched up above their weight and overachieved? I don't think so. Like they lost their first playing game, um, which is insane. So to get to this point, 3 wins away from a championship. Obviously, it's tough for them because their roster is it's a bit the future
Yeah.
of it is a bit awkward. But what a run that they've had! What a run they've had! They started taking off who is viewed as the championship contender in the Milwaukee Bucks. They had to beat a first seed and a second seed on the way to a title. And they were probably they've been the underdog in every series as well. So um,
I would argue with the next series they was
I
kind of
don't know.
even,
I don't know.
but I
Well, yeah, it was definitely even, but I'm sure the odds would say because remember how dominant the Knicks were in that first round as well,
yeah, the fact like
and
Knicks
they had
were the
home
best
court.
rebounding team, like
Yeah,
went to the worst rebounding team. Yeah, like
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, and they had home court, and then obviously after Jimmy Butler got injured as well. Um,
I think like that injury played a big part in the playoffs
for sure.
because I think it would be probably Heat in five against the Celtics, and then probably the longest series against the Nuggets as well if
Yeah.
Jimmy was healthy.
I mean, Jimmy averaged like 37 in the Bucks series,
Yeah,
uh, and that would have been hard enough to continue that pace just off being tired and playing that much. But then adding on that injury, uh, yeah, it's tough. But that's the reality of such a long season and then such a long playoff run. Uh,
yeah, but like yeah, Heat had very good run. Like Gabe Vincent had very good playoffs. Like overall, not even one series.
yeah.
Caleb Martin, like he was Eastern Conference like MVP. Yeah, I think, but like yeah, like the whole squad, like who basically looking at the paper, that team shouldn't be in the final. They should have been nowhere near the finals.
On
And the fact that
paper,
like they made it,
on
it
wood,
says a lot about the Heat
whatever
culture.
it is,
Like
whatever material, with paper, chalkboard, whatever. They should not have been anywhere near the finals. And look, let's be real. That playing game between the Heat and the Bulls, both fan bases did not care because you were playing for the right to get swept by the Bucks, and they they
yeah,
didn't get swept by the Bucks, to say the least. So um, it is tough when you make it this far, but you do have to appreciate how far they came with all the odds against them. But
yeah,
now
100%.
now we must go to playoff Jimmy. Uh Himmy buckets.
Ay,
He
ay, 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 ay.
Yeah, he really filed for the trademark for Himmy buckets right before the finals as well, just to put up that stinker. That might have been the worst finals performance by a superstar in the last 10 years. Obviously, you probably have to go back to like LeBron in 2011. It was
Yeah,
it was a stinker, man. And if you extend it back a little bit further to um like game 4 of the of the Celtics series, he did not he's had a bit of a bit of a bad streak, bad couple weeks.
yeah, for sure. I don't know. Like, as I said, it's probably because of the injury, but like, you definitely should have. Like,
Nah.
I don't know. Like, it's
Especially if you're still
Jimmy.
gonna be
Like,
trying to if you're gonna try to put up the if he's gonna talk like he's in a documentary after every game as well. You
exactly.
can't be doing that. You can't refuse
Yeah,
to
and like the fact that like
you refuse to hold the Eastern Conference Finals trophy, saying I'll hold the next one, and you put performers like that. Come on, man. You should have held the first one.
like
So
the shooting splits were like good, and the game
disgusting.
five last two possessions, one you turn over the ball, just give it away, and then you just there's 20 seconds on the clock, and you just jack up the three. Like, come on, like he should know better than that. That it's not his like shot and not his game like that. Just shoot like there's still plenty of time. Like I don't know. I was super surprised by that.
Yeah, it's weird. You get that with Jimmy sometimes where it's so weird when he's playing good. It feels like he's like the game of basketball just clicked for him. Like it's easy. He knows how to manipulate the game, get fouls, and do all sorts of different things. And then there'll just be games where it's like he just decides that he doesn't want to.
Yeah,
Like doesn't want to
yeah,
attack,
literally.
settles for threes. It's literally like LeBron in the Nuggets series. It's really strange. But unfortunately, we have to retire the playoff Jimmy. Uh, we have to retire that name. Sorry, like, it's not there. After that Buck series, people were talking crazy. They were saying he was a top 10 playoff performer of all
Yeah,
time. Uh, I saw fans say that he like he's a better Heat than LeBron. No, I did. I did. I did. Yep. Yep. Um
After the Buck series, like it makes sense. Like adrenaline is high, everything.
yeah,
So like it makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah.
It
They
makes
kind of just
sense.
penciled in the rest of the series after that. They penciled in the next 12 wins after that Buck series. Uh
Yeah.
yeah,
After the finals, I saw the like memes going around like, oh, so like it makes sense why Michael Jordan like didn't want a kid.
yeah, that's why he disowned him. Yeah, that's crazy. I saw like this comment and it was like Michael Jordan, you are not the father.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
like Michael Jordan would allow that.
yeah, nah, he's not that. Yeah, yeah, you know, yeah, he's not a Jordan. He's not a Jordan. That yeah, that was bad. That was bad. 518. Guess at least he was aggressive. I guess.
Yeah, yeah,
He's
that's true.
throwing for
Like
them games where he doesn't
he
even
stayed
take
like,
10
yeah,
shots sometimes. But
yeah.
uh, yeah, look, we understand the injuries, but at the same time, it, nah, nah.
At
The
least like if shots not hitting, like you still can do a lot, everything else.
look, yeah, we don't historically no one cares about injuries, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of players that have dealt with injuries and we still hold those final performances against them. Uh Steph Curry, let's be real, he probably wasn't 100% when they blew the 3-1 lead, but at the end of the day, he was on the court. You got
Yeah.
you, you got to be critiqued for your performance. Like we got to take things into context, but he would have got the credit if they won. So you got to get the slander if you lose. So I don't hold against him his poor play in terms of I get what he was going through, but at the same time, to be held to that, if we're holding him to that standard of all-time playoff player, he's doing interviews about how he doesn't care about the Hall of Fame. Like, oh, I'm not even gonna go to the like. I guess you probably won't have to worry about it.
100%. But I want to, who's the real fraud in the series? Caleb Martin. He didn't show up to any of the games. Like he averaged like 20 points against Celtics, and he averaged like 5 points against the Nuggets. Like, come
Bro, he
on.
was he was protesting against the Eastern Conference Finals MVP, bro.
Probably.
Yeah,
But I think if the like role players show up as they did against Celtics, it's 7 game series, 100%.
really. Something. Oh, well, yeah, they were going crazy though. Yeah, they were going crazy.
Yeah,
Like
if they were
the
going
the role
the same
players will
way as
average
they
like
went
20
against
points per
Celtics.
game and shoot 1,000,000% from three. Then yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
This is a bit
But
more.
like,
That's what I'm saying though.
and
That's
the
why this Nuggets win is so. I'm not a fan of putting asterisks on rings. But if there's a valid ring, if there's a strong case for a good ring, is this season because they're not up and down, they don't ebb and flow, they don't beat themselves. Every game they've lost is because the other team just outplayed them that game. But in terms of themselves, they don't go down. Like they're not like the Celtics who might not take the game seriously
yeah,
or whichever team it is. They always show up. They were consistent throughout. So that's what I'm saying with the Heat. It felt like a lot of the series that well they won with a formula where it was kind of like everyone had to shoot crazy from three, and these role
yeah.
players throughout the season didn't do much had to play like all stars. So it's like it comes up. Everyone's gonna regress to the mean at some point. So I think that's what happened. It caught up with them, but there's no shame in getting this far. Um, and
Yeah.
Adam Silver's got to love this as well because that this run wouldn't be possible without the playing. I mean, and
Oh, yeah, 100%.
a run like this will definitely deter teams from tanking. obviously a year like because if you just really think about it, the amount of teams that could have tanked, like the Thunder, like the Heat, towards the end of the season, um, that still
like Dallas did.
yeah, like Dallas did. But right at the end of the season of a draft that has Wemby in it, and look, obviously the ninth place team doesn't have great odds, but I mean it's Wemby, like you might as well.
Yeah,
So for them to for for teams for there to be, I can't remember a year where less teams tanked, and it was Wemby, like with a high prospect in the draft,
yeah,
and
yeah. The fact that it
coming
was such a high prospect and like, yeah,
with a high prospect, and now you have a team that was in the play and make the finals. I think it's great for the league, and I don't think there was I can't remember a year period that many teams had a chance to win as well. That it was
yeah,
that wide open, and now in the last, I think what the last 5 years has been five different champions, and
yep.
two of them it was the franchise's first. A couple of them were ending long droughts as well. So the league's in a good place. The league's in a good place.
100%, 100%.
Uh,
Like with the stars like coming out, like and especially like the biggest superstars are from Europe and like all
uh,
over the world.
it's truly a global
It
game.
just shows how how global it is.
Yeah. Yeah, we have um yeah, a Serbian finals MVP, we just had a Greek one. Uh yeah. I mean it's crazy the way where the league's going.
Even Jerry West said like what best players, like top three players are all internationals. So
Yep.
there's no like lying that.
And even what the first pick of the draft is from France. Um
Yeah. Next year probably as
Next year
and
the
like
yeah, Lithuanian player, he's the top prospect, so
so it could be like even in draft. Last year it was Italian. This year is gonna be French, and next year might be Lithuanian. So like
yeah.
even in draft, like young prospects are like, international.
Exactly. And it's great for the game. It's not just great for these other countries, but it's great for the game that now you're getting a pool of the quality of the league is going to be better because you're not just getting the best players from America, but you're getting the best players from the whole world
Yeah.
as the game continues to expand. So, yeah, the league's doing a great job with that. They just need to do a bit of a better job of making the finals feel like the finals. But other than
Yeah,
that, yeah.
100%.
One last thing we have to get into Jokic is historic playoff run. We got to give him his flowers. Not us specifically, because I mean we've been doing that. We've been doing that. I don't think you can find anywhere outside of maybe a Nuggets podcast that has been that has given his flowers as consistently as we have. Um, but what a playoff run he's had. Perfect season ruined by Kendrick Perkins, but nevertheless, I mean he was a real MVP. But nah, he's the best player in the league. He's the best player in the league. So
100%.
MVP or not, whatever, he cares. Best player in the league, just consistent throughout. Doesn't matter what the matchup was. All the narratives, oh, we're gonna put him in pick and roll all game and tween hezzy him to death. And he's what's he gonna do when KD has him in an ISO and blah 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 blah. Uh, he's a champion, and all of the narratives is beautiful. What a championship can do, it just kills every narrative. Uh,
Yeah.
Also, Dirk was a bit more. His was more warranted. He had kind of the playoff choker label for a bit there because obviously he lost a 1-8 fresh off an MVP, but he won that 2011 ring and all his sins got washed away. Uh,
Yeah.
Jokic didn't really have sins to get washed away in this case, but all the dumb narratives that were going around, like I could list them off. You say your friend, the Nuggets fan, he went through and did the work for us. Like he went through,
Yeah, you
applied to
know,
everyone.
definitely.
But it's just like the defensive thing. Look, the narrative is funny because it's the same thing with Steph. Okay, Embiid might be a better defender than Jokic, and I say might. I really do say might because defense, when you play, you realize defense is not just blocks per game, steals per game.
Yeah.
Jokic has good instincts as well. And he knows how to position himself well and use his size. But even if he is, like, you take a player like Steph, let's say Steph versus Jimmy Butler, yeah. Like, Jimmy Butler is a better two-way player than Steph. But Steph's offensive game is so generational that who cares? He has so much more impact on the game, regardless. He could be the worst defender in the league and it wouldn't matter, and he's not. So with Jokic, I just think it's just terrible, lazy narratives. Look, you just the truth is you saw a fat white guy and you thought this guy cannot be the best player in the league, and you just went with that. And he doesn't have a sexy game, and he blah blah blah. He's from Europe. Nuggets play at 3 in the morning every game, so I'm not like
Yep.
I, I'm not gonna keep up with him until I have to, and now you have to because
Yeah, the fact that like a lot of people saw Jokic play for the first time in the Lakers series, that says a lot.
yeah,
Like, come
yeah,
on, like he's been this good for like how many years now? Like 4 or 5 years.
that's
He
how it
won two
goes.
MVPs already. Like,
That's why everyone has to turn up every time they go to Staples or the Garden because they know that might be the only time anyone ever watches them play.
yeah,
Um, yeah, it is ridiculous. But yeah, ESPN they're probably pissed. They're gonna have to give them a few more uh national TV games now. ESPN and TNT. The NBA is just in shambles, knowing that they have to give him a Christmas game now. Uh, but it's undisputed. He's the best player in the league. He took that crown, and it's not necessarily that whoever wins the championship is, but normally that is the case. Because he was an MVP level player and he was consistent throughout the whole playoffs. So yeah, you gotta give him his respect. Gotta give him respect.
yeah, 100%. And like this, and the, I think personality wise, a lot of people haven't seen him
Yeah.
because, like, like especially like after the finals, he was straight away talking about his horses. Like, oh, like parade? No, I don't like parade on
I gotta go
Thursday.
home. I gotta go
I
home.
have horse race on Sunday. Like, can I go home quicker? Like his personality wise as well. Like, I think he's very underrated.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. He doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be like eccentric, over the top. Like he's got that dry humor. I think maybe he doesn't appeal to the American fans as much, but in Europe and around the world,
Yeah,
it's a lot more of that type of humor. And yeah, he just I don't know what more you could ask for. If you just put his stats side by side, I guess he's not doing enough tomahawk dunks and tween
yeah,
hezzies for you to appreciate his game, but the production speaks for itself.
yeah, 100%. Like he deserves all the flowers, especially now after this run. As you said, like a lot of people just, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Even the probably number one hater, Nick Rice, said, apologize to the Jokic, and I guess like that says a lot about
Bro,
the run. And
that's like
finally,
apologizing to LeBron.
they
Like
saw
that's
him. It's crazy how like all it took one good run with a healthy team, and
no,
now
no.
everyone's seen
All
him.
it took was them to actually watch him play in a basketball game, like to act the game.
Yeah, that's true.
They were
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
oh, they were like, I saw Lakers fans. They were like, look at the shots he's hitting. Like, this is BS. This is fluky. I'm like, and then they dropped the compilation of probably like 20 minutes of him hitting those shots throughout the years. uh,
Yeah,
gotta watch.
especially like sometimes he just hit the shots from like Steph Curry range, and he's not like, oh, like I have to, I just send it. Like he hit the shot, but like it's not his game. Like those like long ranges.
Yeah, the Nuggets and led by Jokic and Mike Malone have just beat the league into submission of having to respect them, uh,
Yeah,
what they do with their production. You still got some people holding in strong. Skip Bayless saying that Embiid is still better. Okay.
to be
Uh,
fair, I can't say enough. The Shannon left, so he has to do something
but
now.
yeah, you gotta go crazy now. You gotta go. You gotta go crazy. So Antonio Brown said he was going with him. Nah, that would go. But um, what else was I gonna say?
Do you think now that like with Jokic being the best players now, bigs across the league will get more respect?
To be honest,
because like it's games.
I think the last few years, I think it's kind of been established that bigs are um I mean the last three MVPs have been bigs now. But I
Yeah,
get what you mean in terms of the appeal. It's only really Embiid that gets our respect, and that's because he has guard-like skills in the way he scores.
yeah,
But I don't even like that narrative because Jokic to me his game is entertaining to me. The passes he
yeah.
makes,
And to be fair,
the way he scores.
and now Wemby's coming in the league as well. So like he's a big man, big, like very tall person. So like they have to. So
At the end of the
one
day,
thing,
the the reason why bigs are consistently drafted high throughout all of history, no matter what the era is, whether it's a 3-point era or I mean, you still had Aiton getting drafted first pick a couple years back, even though it's a 3-point guard era, is that the basketball hoop is 10 feet in the air, and you'd rather have a tall player that can do that can play well than a short player that can play well. At the end of the day, it just makes things easier for you, and that is the objective of the game. So uh yeah, you have to respect it, and that's the way the league's going. As players continue to get more skilled, at those
yeah,
heights, you're not throughout the world now. A player a player is 6'7" as a kid. They're not just being told to get in the post. They're being told to expand their game. So you're gonna get more and more of this. Yeah, especially as now you're getting
can I
players.
say one thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Colin Coward, like he was
Ah,
talking
please,
about
please.
Embiid. No, he said that like
Colin
Jokic is
Coward.
like the best passer, and he said, you know, guess who
Wait,
is
wait,
the
wait, wait, wait,
second best passing
wait,
big?
wait, wait. What you say?
He said he was talking about Jokic's passing and
Okay.
stuff, and guess who is the number two best passing big in the league, according to
Currently,
him?
of all time.
Yeah, currently.
Oh,
What
I'm
he
trying to
said.
think
Guess what he
logically.
said.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
guess what he said.
Uh,
He
is it
said
gonna be?
Embiid is
Yes.
second.
I
He
was
said
gonna say
Embiid is
Embiid.
like second best passing big in the league.
Oh,
Yeah, it
Embiid.
makes no
Is
sense.
Embiid even like top five?
Top top three passing bigs is Jokic, Sabonis, and Şengün passing bigs,
Hmm. Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah. I'd agree with that. And then I'd put Bama ahead of him.
yeah, 100%.
Who else would I put ahead of him? Uh, there are definitely more, but they're role players.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
ridiculous.
but basically he's definitely not second.
It's because people just need to watch more basketball. They just they figure out their 10 names that they want to say are the best at every single thing possible, whatever it is, and then they just only watch them play. And even them, they only watch them play in national TV games. Uh, and they just base everything off that. That's why they still.
Yeah,
That's why they still call Steph and Jokic bad defenders. That's why a player can shoot 40% in their rookie season and shoot 20% for the rest of their career, and they'll still be called a great shooter because you know what I mean. It's just casuals around, and yeah,
yeah,
it's. But at the end of the day, that's why you have to win when you're from these markets, is because apparently even being a back-to-back MVP is not enough to get your respect. So it's undeniable now. They have no choice. Uh,
yeah.
yeah, that's where we are now. Give Jokic his damn respect.
And now at least now the talk started. Is Jokic top five centers in the league? At least like now, like this talk started. Whereas was is he even the best MVP in the history?
That's
So
the
like
problem that I.
at least the narrative changed towards
That's
like
the
more
problem I
positive.
arrive at is that a lot of these all time. There's so many all time greats that even without a championship, even without this championship, Jokic had already, in terms of just accolades, maybe he doesn't have the longevity yet, but in terms of accolades, he's already surpassed. And the problem is, I feel like there wasn't as much of a high criteria for players back then, or at least they weren't held to these standards. Because
Yeah,
when you'll say a player from this era is better than a player from that era, and they'll just be like, oh, what? But then when you really break it down and look at what they've achieved, you realize like what is the actual argument outside of them just being a household name and considered a legend. But yeah, stack up two finals MVPs. Two back-to-back MVPs, a finals MVP now in the championship, historic playoff run. He's got two 3-1 lead comebacks in his arsenal
yeah,
there. And he's been consistent for 5 years. It took him a while to get to all-star level, but as soon as he was all-star level, he was MVP level.
yeah, 100%.
You normally don't see, normally it's more gradual, but as soon as the Nuggets committed to him, I remember it was the Nurkic versus Jokic. And some fans were mad that they chose Jokic instead of Nurkic as well. But
Yeah, they chose correctly. They chose correctly.
understatement of the century. But yeah,
Yeah,
Jokic, he's made it, and whether you like it or not, he's here to stay. But yeah, that
yeah. Well,
was
and he's still what 26. And like that Nuggets team still like if they stick together, they still have like 5 years
it's not
left
looking good for
easily.
you haters, man. Tell you that.
Yep.
It's not looking
Yeah,
good for you.
100%.
Yeah. They look like they're gonna be there for a while now. Until they pass the torch to the Thunder. But yeah, in the meantime, they got now, we got next.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, yeah, it's time to end now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Get to that
Yeah.
point.
You're waffling now.
I've
You're
asserted.
waffling now.
No, I gotta find my way to insert my team into as many as possible. You know what I mean? Yeah. All right. But with that, yeah. Peace.